Saturday night. Today was super annoying, super busy. So let's rifle through some of these orders that I gotta pack up and ship out on Monday. First off, we have these white metallic 5s. Pretty beat up, little scuff on the toe there. Used, no box, and a size 10. These sold for about 70 bucks and they are heading to Arkansas, I believe. And that's what's first for the night on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have this Adidas True School Classics 2XL Clyde Drexler jersey. Really cool piece. Had it up on eBay for a while. Sold for about 50 shipped. This is heading to Connecticut, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have these lava domes. These are from 2001. Kind of like a really spooky, crazy old sneaker. Surprised they sold, honestly. They're heading to Arizona, I believe, for about 40 bucks, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a very cool sneaker that doesn't go for much. Here we have the Nike LeBron 3s Quick Strike Edition. Really cool pair, don't sell for much. This pair sold for about $130 plus shipping, and it's heading to New York. And that is what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have these Nike Air Foamposite Pros, a Sequoia edition. Pretty cool colorway. Obviously they overdid it with the foams. They're making way too many colors. That's why they don't really go for money. Back when I was in high school, foams went for the high, like 400 bucks. Anyway, this pair is heading to Connecticut for about 75 plus shipping, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Last but not least, we have 3 pairs going out to one person. This person found us on Instagram. I appreciate her for reaching out and finding some eBay items that we had and seeing what else we have for sale and purchasing all this stuff. So here we have the Oreo 5s. This is a size 7. These sold for very cheap, about 30 bucks. Next up we have the Air Jordan 13 Bread, size 6.5. This pair sold for 60 bucks, which, shoot, I wish my size went for 60 bucks because then I damn near have every sneaker. And last but not least, we have the Air Jordan 5 Pro Stars. These are in really good condition. Total order for all these 3 pairs was $160 shipped, and they're heading out to New York, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. YouTube, happy Tuesday. First up on What's Shipping, we have this Jerry Cosby CCM NHL New York Rangers Brian Leetch jersey. Now, I don't really know much about these jerseys. What I do know is they are amazing quality in hand. Really nice pieces. This piece I had online for like 300 bucks. I ended up getting an offer of 180 or 185. I countered with 225 plus shipping. Buyer accepted. This very cool Brian Leetch jersey is heading to Connecticut, and that's what's first on the day on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we got these low top CDG Converses. I'm pretty much breaking even on these. Sold them for about 110. Bought them for about 100. Just kind of want to get rid of them, make some space. So these are going to go, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. YouTube, what is good? It is Wednesday. I got a lot of stuff to pack up. Let's get right down to business. First up on What's Shipping, we got this silky, authentic Adidas pair of Chicago Bulls shorts. This pair has a bunch of marks on it. Really nice pair of shorts though. I had these up for the high, about 100 bucks. Someone offered me 75 plus shipping, and I accepted it. This pair of shorts is heading to California, and that's what's first for the day on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have this beautiful Michelin-esque gold logo Miami Heat Tim crossover Hardaway jersey. This I had on eBay for quite some time as well. I had it up there for about 225 plus shipping. I had offers of 180. Eventually, I believe the person paid around 200 shipped for it. This right here is heading to Brooklyn, New York, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a replacement box for the Air Jordan 7 Raptors. They called the newest release of the Raptors, which released in 2012, which is this pair. A lot of people called them the Craptors because the quality was not as good, obviously, as the 2002 pair. But to each their own. It's still Raptor 7. It's still a popular sneaker. Really great shoe. Michael Jordan did a lot of good things in this pair. Anyway, this pair is heading to Chicago, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a pair of LeBron 11 King's Pride. This was the first colorway of the LeBron 11 to release, I believe, and it was a really cool sneaker. I had a bunch of these growing up. I'll be honest though, playing basketball in these, not a good idea. My toe got really messed up playing ball in these, so I wouldn't recommend it. That's why LeBron didn't even ball in these, if I remember correctly. I mean, he did, but barely. This pair right here is heading to Georgia, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have an item that's been sitting in the back for a little bit now. This is a Nautica windbreaker hoodie type of thing. You know, nice piece. This is a men's small, children's XL. This piece is heading to Pennsylvania, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have one of my favorite players of all time, a Jason Kidd Phoenix Suns authentic. Really nice jersey. It's just a size 56, and obviously the wide shoulders just don't really sell too well. This jersey is heading overseas for about 60 plus shipping, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a 2009 classic This is the Air Jordan 11 Space Jam from 2009. Great sneaker. You know, kind of sad that they re-released, honestly, because this was like a grail. These used to go for like 500 bucks. Then they re-released them, and now they don't go for as much. This pair is really beat up, and it is heading to New York for about $175 plus shipping, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have another pair of Air Jordan 11s. This is the Platinum Tint Edition Air Jordan 11. To be honest, this is a terrible Air Jordan 11 to me. I mean, the suede just makes no sense. If this was patent leather, I think it'd look cooler. The suede is just really stupid. This pair is heading to Massachusetts, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have this Pierre Moss, whatever, Pierre Moss. I don't even know what these are called, to be honest. This is a Reebok collaboration. These are really beat up. These are heading to New York for about 40 plus shipping or something like that. Just happy to get rid of this box. It's just sitting in the back. And that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have these Jim Green Foamposite Pros. I don't know if you guys were into sneakers back then, but when these released, it was like a big deal. People were lined up. They were reselling for like $350. Really cool sneaker. The color looks different depending on how the light hits. Heading to Georgia, used with no box for about 100 plus shipping. And that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have an Air Jordan 1. This is a GS, size 6.5, bread toe. It's crazy how much GS sizes go for nowadays in the Air Jordan 1s. I wish I saved a lot of the GS sizes I sold back in the day, but I didn't. This pair is gently worn in a size 6.5. It is heading to GOAT for about $325, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. YouTube, what's good? It's Wednesday night. I have a couple orders to pack up right before we get out of here, so let's get into those right now. I'm going to drop these off at GOAT tomorrow. I only have about 4 pairs to drop off, but I figured why not drop them all off at once instead of shipping them off one by one. Here we have the Air Jordan 10 double nickel. Really classic sneaker, just doesn't go for much. This pair sold for about $95. I didn't really put these on eBay. I probably should have tried to get like 110, 120, but at this point I'd rather just get the money in now. So we're going to drop these off at GOAT tomorrow, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have these Balenciaga sock runners. This is a Volt colorway. This sneaker's weird. I kind of just helped someone try to sell these, so I'm going to bring these to GOAT tomorrow. Hopefully everything passes with them. These are always like sized really weird, whether it be European or UK, whatever. It's just kind of hard to convert the exact US size, so usually sometimes I make the mistake. Hopefully this time I didn't, and these clear, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have this Yeezy 500 Stone Edition. I believe I reviewed a pair of these in the last episode because I sold a size 10 or 10.5 used. This pair is brand new in a size 13. I could have sworn just the other day these were on GOAT for like 200 brand new. Somehow this pair sold to get us 270 or 275. Definitely happy with that outcome, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Up on What's Shipping, we have an Air Jordan 1 Low. This is the Royal OG edition. No one cared about these when they came out. Obviously now lows are a lot more popular and people care. This pair is really beat up, doesn't have the original box, is missing one insole, but they still sold for about $100. The other day someone came in and was looking for this pair and wanted to check them out in person. It's funny, I swear, like usually when I'm looking for a pair or someone mentions a pair, or I'm in the back and I look over some pairs and I say, dang, I don't know I still had those, or why do I still have those, they end up selling. It's really bizarre and interesting, but this pair sold for about $100 and is heading to Ohio, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have an Air Jordan 6. This is the wheat edition, wheat colorway. This pair sold for about $100 plus shipping. It's pre-owned, in pretty good condition, a size 11.5. This pair is heading to Illinois, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a pair of Air Force Ones. This particular pair was in a recent buyout I did where I kind of overpaid for a bunch of stuff. So right now I'm just trying to recoup that money, get a lot of this stuff sold because it's not really the best product. This pair sold for $100 plus shipping, very happy about that. This pair is heading to North Carolina, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. What is good? Welcome back to What's Shipping. It is Friday, it is early. The coronavirus got the whole world going into a frenzy. I've been slacking a little bit, so let's get right down to business and get all this stuff packed up and shipped out. First up on What's Shipping, we have the Air Jordan 6. This is the Chinese New Year edition. Really well constructed sneaker, I guess, with all the stitching and the cool fireworks throughout the shoe. Not really my cup of tea personally. I think retail on this sneaker was like $225. This pair is a 9.5. It's used. It is heading overseas for a little under $200 plus shipping, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a pair that I'm very happy sold. This is a beat pair of Air Jordan 11 Space Jams. This is a size 7 youth. I recently bought these, had them up on eBay for a few days, and lo and behold, they sold. These are heading to Nebraska, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a pair of LeBron Palmers. This is a size 11. These are pretty cooked. These sold for only $35 plus shipping, and they're heading to California, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have another pair of these Air Max Thea joints. This pair actually sold for more than I needed. I believe these sold for like 45 to 65 plus shipping. I don't really remember off the top of my head, to be honest. This pair right here is a size 8 women's and is heading to Texas, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a pair of Human Races. Not really sure which exact pair this is, to be honest with you. This pair is used with no box, and it is heading to Arizona. These only sold for a little over $100. It's crazy to see that, because back in the day when Human Races first hit the scene, they were like, you know, $500, really hard to find. Obviously, with anything, they make a bunch of colorways and a bunch of versions, so everyone is able to get them. And once that happens, people don't really want them as much, and the value drops. This pair of Human Races is heading to Arkansas for a little over $100 plus shipping, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have this very clean, very nice Tyrone Wheatley helmet tag authentic jersey. I really personally like the helmet tag authentics. They're just really good quality. They're heavy, nice pieces. This piece right here sold for about $100 shipped, and it is heading to Tennessee, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a pair that's been sitting here for quite some time. This is the Air Jordan 5 black metallic with the Nike Air on the back. Sad part about these is obviously there's yellowing throughout the upper. I personally like yellowing. I think it shows character. Nothing really wrong with it. This pair sold for a little over $100 plus shipping. It is heading to Wisconsin, and that's what's last on this quick little segment of What's Shipping. YouTube, we are back. It is the middle of the day on Friday. I have some moments to myself, so I feel like why not bang out some of these orders. Here we have a pair of Nike Air Jordan 1 High Flyknit Breads, aka bands, aka 1985s, whatever you want to call them. This pair is heading to Iowa for about $100 plus shipping. Super happy with the outcome. These just came in yesterday, so definitely happy about that. And that's what's first on this quick segment of What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have this Brazil Adidas size large World Cup zip up. This is heading overseas. I'd assume it's maybe heading to Brazil. I'm not really sure. Pretty cool piece. I think it sold for about 25 plus shipping. And that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we got a nice pink Nike SB box for the Nike SB Purple Avengers. This was actually my size 11.5. But looking at them, to be honest with you, I think these are super ugly. I mean, I love purple too, but nothing about this sneaker really appeals to me. It looks like a blanket that you go out on a picnic with, like the purple part. Anyway, this pair right here is heading to Florida for about $260 plus shipping, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a Adidas Yeezy Zebra. You guys remember when these went for $1,500? It's crazy to see what they go for now, a lot less than that. This pair is very gently worn in a size 7. I can tell you right now that size 7.5 and below in Yeezys, like, they really hold their value, they gain their value. This pair is worn. I only wanted 300 in store. They sold for about $365 shipped, and they're heading to New York. And that's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have a size 8.5 and the newest release of the Air Jordan 11 Bread. This pair sold for about $245 plus shipping. Very good deal if you ask me. This sneaker obviously will hold its value in the years to come. This pair is heading to Georgia, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. Last but not least, on this quick little segment, we got the What the Fours. This is a 9.5 in pretty good condition. These we put up on our Instagram for about $150. They sold right away to somebody in Massachusetts, so these are heading out there via Venmo for $160 shipped, and that's what's next on What's Shipping. By the way, I think in like 2 years, these are gonna go for like $350, $400, and everyone's gonna want them. It's crazy to me that a What the Jordan 4 goes for like nothing. I feel like 5-10 years ago, if you said the What the Jordan 4 was coming out, people would line up for days, but times have changed. That's what's next on What's Shipping. Next up on What's Shipping, we have this very cool old school Nike authentic size 56 New York Jets. I believe this is an old Marvin Jones jersey. This jersey we put up yesterday for about $125. We accepted an offer of $125 shipped, and it is heading to New Jersey, and that's what's next on What's Shipping.